So, picture this. Have you ever tried navigating a city where the maps are literal 3D mazes? The digital ecosystem is completely walled off, and the money is so invisible that your physical cash basically feels like museum currency. Traveling in highly digitized modern China is an absolutely incredible experience. But man, it comes with immense logistical friction for the uninitiated. You literally can't just land and expect your usual apps to work. It's a whole different world. But don't worry, because today we're unlocking the ultimate survival guide. We're breaking down a master framework to help you seamlessly navigate these hyper-modern landscapes. Welcome, the Explainer. Okay, let's dive right into this. Our roadmap today covers 4 quick stops. First, navigating the travel challenge. Second, the 100-point evaluation framework. Third, decoding the scoring tiers. And finally, our series explainer blueprint. Starting right off with Section 1, navigating the travel challenge and really looking at the friction of the modern explorer. You see, China's urban landscape operates on an entirely different, highly insular operating system. Your standard global apps, they often just don't work natively there. I mean, imagine the very real panic of standing in a bustling corner store, right? There's a huge line of locals waiting behind you. You scan a QR code with your phone and your Alipay glitches. The transaction fails. You try handing over a foreign Visa card or maybe even physical cash, and the cashier just shakes their head. No way. So the ultimate question for any traveler becomes, do local taxis and corner stores seamlessly accept international cards, or do transactions frequently fail? Because it's not just about getting around, it's about basic survival in an ecosystem that's built exclusively for locals. Which brings us to Section 2, the 100-point evaluation framework, our 5 categories to truly master the city. To actually conquer these environments, we need an objective master key. So we've broken down urban navigability into 5 core buckets: payment, navigation, accommodation, ticketing, and spatial complexity. Each one is worth an equal 20 points, adding up to a perfect 100. This is the structural lens, the literal blueprint through which we'll evaluate every single destination.
Let's dig into that first category, payment and mobile app friction. For 20 points, we're measuring a very simple reality. When you buy a coffee or try to hail a cab, do your international cards bound to Alipay or WeChat actually work? We're looking at whether local metro apps and bike share systems are integrated in English, or if you're suddenly forced to blind navigate deeply embedded Chinese-only mini programs just to, run to bicycle.
Next up is navigation and public transit, which is another 20 points. And the extremes here are just wild. On one hand, you might have pristine bilingual metro announcements that make travel an absolute breeze. On the other hand, you might face this sheer dread of ordering a Didi, that's the local ride-hailing app, and having the driver immediately call you speaking a mile a minute in a local dialect you don't understand just to confirm your pickup spot. Then there is accommodation. This is a massive hurdle that catches so many travelers off guard. By law, hotels there have to register foreign guests. It's known as YG registration. But the catch is, a lot of budget or mid-range hotels either don't have the system for it, or the staff just don't know how to use it. This means you could show up with a confirmed booking only to be turned away at midnight. So we evaluate this friction, right down to whether the front desk staff has to rely entirely on handheld translation apps just to check you in. The fourth category is attraction, ticketing, and passport booking. This one really evaluates the reality of gate access. It contrasts the dream of, say, easily booking a museum slot on an English portal like Trip.com against the harsh reality of mandatory advanced online reservations, the kind where you have to navigate complex WeChat mini programs that specifically demand Chinese ID verification. If you can't just walk up and buy a ticket at the gate with your passport, the friction there is incredibly high. And finally, spatial complexity and walkability. The geographic diversity here heavily dictates your survival. We contrast the straightforward, super easy to navigate flat grids of a city like Beijing against the mind-bending, literal 3D mazes of Chongqing. I mean, we're talking about a city where you can walk out of a 10th floor apartment directly onto a bustling street. Topography directly dictates how heavily you're going to rely on map apps and whether local eateries use visual auto-translating menus or confusing handwritten chalkboards. It's a game changer. All right, moving on to Section 3, decoding the scoring tiers. This is where we establish the reality check. So once we combine the scores across those 5 categories we just talked about, we funnel that final number into 3 distinct tiers: easy, manageable, and challenging. This gives us a quick way to instantly contrast a seamless megacity with a rugged rural town. Let's break these down so you know exactly what you're getting into. First up, the easy tier.
That's anything scoring between 80 and 100 points. These are your international megacities. Think of the sleek, highly accessible infrastructure of places like Shanghai, Shenzhen, or Guangzhou. Here, you're going to find extensive English signage on the subways, near 100% acceptance of foreign cards bound to Alipay, and abundant hotel options that just effortlessly process international passports. Smooth sailing. Drop down a bit and we hit the manageable tier. That's scoring between 50 and 79 points. These are regional and cultural hubs, places like Beijing, Xi'an, or Chengzhou. Now the main tourist zones? Super easy. But the second you venture out to secondary spots or use local transport, you'll suddenly find yourself needing translation apps, undergoing manual passport checks, or having to carefully filter your hotel searches to ensure they actually accept foreigners.
And then we have the challenging tier. This is anything scoring under 50 points, and it sets the expectation for demanding, high-friction environments. We're talking about places like Chongqing, Zhangjiajie, or those rural Fujian Tulu villages. These locations feature complex 3D geography, mandatory Chinese mini-program queues, very limited foreigner-approved lodging, and a heavy, heavy reliance on local dialects. You will absolutely need local hacks to survive here, for sure.
Which leads us to Section 4, our series explainer blueprint, where we actually test these cities in the wild. Because now that you understand the framework, we aren't just going to leave you with the theory. We're systematically testing these cities using a consistent 4-step structure: the hook, the category breakdown, the local hacks, and the final scorecard and verdict. Here's exactly how that's going to floor. We'll kick off every explainer with the hook. Right in that first minute, we immediately identify the city's most striking logistical challenge. We'll show you exactly what getting lost in Chongqing's 8D elevators feels like, or the struggle of just trying to buy a bus ticket in a smaller town. Plus, we'll give you an early reveal of the difficulty badge so you know the stakes right up front. Next up is the core of the explainer, the category breakdown. This is where we bring that 100-point framework to life with actual, real-world tests. We won't just tell you if it's hard. We're going to show you what it actually looks like to try buying a gate ticket with a foreign passport, or the exact process of calling a Didi at a super chaotic high-speed rail hub. Then comes my absolute favorite part, the local hacks. Because look, we don't just want to point out the friction, we want to give you the cheat codes to get past it. For every city, we're going to reveal 2 bespoke, hyper-specific hacks to bypass major hurdles. It could be something as granular as knowing exactly which metro exit, like exit C, to use so you completely bypass a non-English shuttle line that traps all the other tourists. So everything builds to this, the perfect 100. Every explainer concludes with the ultimate objective metric, the 100-point final scorecard and verdict. We'll tally up the points across payment, navigation, accommodation, ticketing, and spatial complexity, locking in the city's official navigability score and giving you the final word on what it really takes to travel there. This framework is your master key. It takes the overwhelming complexity of a hyper-digitized, rapidly evolving country and turns it into a clear, predictable, and totally manageable checklist. So the only question left for us is, which city's navigability should we test first? Think about the places that both fascinate and intimidate you, because we are ready to decode them. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep focused.